Yeah. 90% of the world are idiots. Half of them are morons. We are the 10%. This is Otaku Plays. Or, no, this is a podcast of one, and I'm your host, Spary Otaku. No, let me make sure this isn't playing here. It is, but it's muted. That's good at least. No. Okay, we're good. Nothing played. Well, it doesn't matter because the sound is off on the computer. That would have bothered me. Yeah, so this is the podcast of one, episode 4. There's a dryer going on. I can hear it pretty clearly, but apparently it's not that loud in the microphone, which is actually pretty good, and maybe I'll be able to stream later. I know the only reason I'm doing this now is because I just want to get it over with, and I know that I thought that I wouldn't be able to do the podcast at all because people need the dryer all day, but apparently it's not that big a deal. So I could have just waited until a second load gets in there, but I don't really feel like it, so it doesn't matter. Maybe when the second load goes in, I'll do a stream of an Otaku Plays Splatoon or something. I don't know. Anyway, that segues into games I'm enjoying this week. As we do every week, we talk about some games I've been enjoying. Now, I am gonna rub my hand in the microphone while I do this because my eyes are fucking watering. Oh, thank you, but I do definitely need to diet. That's for sure. That'll be later in the podcast. So the first topic is, as always, is games I'm enjoying this week. Man, his favorite game recommendation, which I'm gonna recommend the game because I don't have another topic. Then I'm gonna talk about the bootleg Deadpool success story. And then I'm going to talk about watchables I'm enjoying this week. And then I'm going to talk about my new low-carb diet. And then number 6 is the projects I'm working on. So let's get into it. Games I'm enjoying this week. First of all, I'm going to say that... Well, I should have talked about another topic. Never mind. I'm going to talk about this topic after this one anyway. Damn, I just realized. That's cool. I'm playing Splatoon. I'm playing the Rivals of Aether, which is fun. I see. Old games are good. Yeah, so I'm playing mostly Rivals of Aether and Splatoon. I've played a little bit of Pocket Rumble. I've also been... What else did I play? I played some Breath of the Wild today for no fucking reason. I didn't do anything, though, in the game, so it doesn't really matter. Did also play around ARMS today, and I just was like, no, this is so boring. It's not boring, it's just... Splatoon is better. So Splatoon is really fun. I always recommend that game. But Pocket Rumble, I'm not sure if I recommend it or not because I know it is $10, right? So it's a good price. But the only thing is, it's like it's really hard. I couldn't think of the word. I'm so tired. It's a very hard game to learn. I mean, it's easy to learn the basics, but for some reason the CPU is really hard. I don't know. Maybe I'll figure out a way to get around, maybe the CPU is just in a broken state at the moment and you have to fight online, but, other than that, it's not a bad game. It's actually a pretty good game. Then, Rivals of Aether is really fun. I recommend that game. It's like $15, I believe, maybe $20. It might be $20. I see. Yeah, a lot of games, I think the problem with games today is that, people generally, newer companies, it's more of a popular thing, so people think they can make more money off it, so they think they need to put less money into it. I think the problem is that it's more of a business now. It's less of a passion thing. But there are still a lot of passion projects out there. I think some games made recently are pretty good, so I like that. That's just my opinion. Anyway, let's get on to topic number 2, which I've just retroactively changed. Actually, maybe I'll just make this a small note. I stopped streaming on YouTube. I feel bad for anyone who's subscribed on there and wanted to watch from there. But I realized that there's a problem with YouTube. Yeah, tryhards with loads of microtransactions. Yeah, that's a good observation. Anyway, so the reason that I'm not going to be streaming on YouTube is because whenever I stream any game that has content in it that isn't YouTube friendly, as in that they'll copyright claim it, what I tend to do, what actually always happens, is if there's content in it that's content claimed or in the content ID system, it'll get ID'd and I'll get a claim, and they're on the streams automatically. So like once the stream's over, it automatically uploads it, which is annoying because I don't want to. If there's a way to turn that off, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll look into it after the stream. But if not, then I think I can't stream on YouTube because I don't want to have all these claims on my account. Because apparently they don't go away. They just stay there. And I have been deleting videos that have been claimed before a long time. But I don't know. I'll have to look into it more. But I think I might not be streaming on YouTube anymore. I mean, I might be able to. Hopefully I can because I really like doing it. I like it making... Yeah. I know this is if they claim it doesn't matter. But I just feel like... oh, they do go away? My friend said they don't, so I'm going to look into it. So, I mean, most likely I'm going to be streaming more, I might still stream it here. There's a good chance of it, so there's just a small chance that I might not, I guess. So anyway, we're going to get into topic number 3, technically. Favorite game recommendation. So this is a little game series that came out in Japan. It came out in 2000, a couple of years after I was born, actually, so I'm older than this game. Oh my god. Well, let's see what's on the screen there. Okay. I don't care about this app. Okay. So, a long time ago, 2000, a game in Japan came out called Gaikuten Saiban, which basically translates to Turnabout Trial. And then they made a couple of sequels. It's a fantastic game. I played it because it came out in America eventually. Like a few years later when it was on the Game Boy. But then it came out in the U.S., right? And it's a great game. It's called Ace Attorney now in the States. And it's a fantastic series. I've been playing it since middle school, 6th grade. Maybe 7th grade, I think I started playing it. In the 7th grade, I don't know how old I was then. I don't know what year that was. But I know that that's when I started it. I started with the second game, and then I went on to the third game, and then I went on to the fourth game, and then I finally went back to the, what's it called, the first game. I got distracted by your message, you meme. Anyway, then what happened was they made more of them, and I played those, and I think they're fantastic. So which game do I think is the best in the series objectively? I'd either say it's one of the newer ones, because they're more, like, they have more flair to them. A lot of people don't like Spirit of Justice. A lot of people don't like Dual Destinies and Apollo Justice, the newest 3 in the series. The last 3, I guess you could say. 4 through 6 that people don't like, but I think they're all fantastic games. I don't think they've made a single game that isn't fantastic. Like, I think they have not made a single Ace Attorney game. I think they made, like, some weird puzzle game. I think that's it. And I think that's about it. But all the games, all the main series games, all 6 of them, and then the 2 spin-offs they have, and then the 1 spin-off, I haven't played it, and then they have, like, 2 other, there's 2 sets of spin-offs. There's Investigations, which takes place in the same timeline. Not takes place. I mean, takes place was the wrong. Focuses on rather one of the main characters, Miles Edgeworth, who's like a prosecutor, and he plays the defense, obviously. So I'd recommend this series because I don't think a single game in the series is below amazing, which is pretty cool for a series. I hope the next game is really good. The only thing I don't know about is the Japanese only. Gaikuten Saiban, which translates to Great Attorney. Well, it would be Greatest Attorney in the States. It's probably what they're going to call it if they ever bring it over. And they're making a second one. I don't know about those 2 because 1 hasn't come out, and 2 hasn't come out, and 1 haven't come out in the States. And 2 might not come out in the States too, as well. But it might. So who knows? No word on it yet, and the game's coming out next month, so probably not going to come out in the States. But that's that. I'll tell you a bit about it. It's basically about it starts off as Phoenix Wright, a rookie attorney. He goes ahead and takes a case for his friend, and all the cases somehow end up being a murder case. I don't know how that happens to every single character in the series, but it does. Yeah, and I guess it's just because it has to be interesting. Burglary isn't as interesting because the person who did it, there's no one. I don't know. There's no one dead. It's less interesting. There is one theft case, but it transitions into another murder case, and it's one case. It counts as one case, which is pretty cool. I think that's in game 2 or 3. I don't know. Yeah, but it's basically about you basically defend your client, and it's really fun. It's like a story, basically. It's like reading a book, because a lot of it is text, and you have to read what's the text as it goes by. There's no voice act. There's like very little voice acting. Very few lines get voice acted, even in the newest one. Like in the beginning, in the first one, the only thing that was voice acted is when the characters shout objection or hold it or take that. And just objection for anybody that lives in Phoenix, right, in the first 3 games. And then, you know, so it's like there's barely any voice acting. There are cutscenes in the latest 2 games, though. Or the latest games in the series, rather. At least 3 games, I guess you could say. The one that takes place in the past does that. But yeah, that's about it for that. I'm going to move on to the next topic. I'm just going to say, play Ace Attorney. It's if you like stories and mysteries, it's a great mystery story. I think it's fantastic. And the last case of the final game that just came out, it's not the final game in the series. They're making more. But the last case, the last game that came out was phenomenal. It had like this big twist at the end, and I almost dropped my 3DS. I was like, whoa, dude, that's not cool. And that was it was the coolest thing because of how uncool the fucking twist was. Like, how uncool of a thing. Like, it's just like, what the hell? That's insane. It was the most insane, like, plot twist. It was so cool. Anyway, I'm going to move on to this thing. This is a Deadpool figure. This Deadpool figure is not legitimate. He's a bootleg. Yeah, this is a bootleg Deadpool Revolt Tech series. Deadpool. I like the figure's design, which is why I bought another one. That's part of this topic. So yeah, I have him in like a Filthy Frank. This is the only pose I can get him into that looks pretty funny or good. I tried like plenty of other poses, but this is like really the only thing I could get him to look good doing. But yeah, he has heart eyes right now because he comes with a multitude of eyes and shit. But I bought a real one. It was way more expensive, the real one. I didn't know this was going to be bootleg. I thought it was going to be legit. I thought I found it for a steal, but I didn't. So I bought the real one, and the reason I did buy the real one was because I got a refund for this one. I got a full refund from eBay. I don't even have to send the figure back, which is pretty cool. I'm probably going to do something to it drastic, if you know what I mean, you know? That's going to be in the review that is coming of the real one, which is coming. Once that real one comes, I'm going to start like playing with it a little bit, testing it out, and then maybe a week later I'll write a little script for it, like what I think of the figure, and then have some fun with it. But that's about it for that topic. I'm going to move on to watchables I've been enjoying this week. Let's start with the most recent thing I watched. I watched a Game Theory just before this fucking video. And apparently there's a lot of Mario Maker levels. It's like so many that you can't even count them. And it's pretty funny. I don't know. I think it was an interesting theory this time. I like how like that's basically the last 2 weeks I talked about the previous Game Theory. I don't know why that's important, but I don't know. I enjoy watching them just to see how much of a fucking train wreck it's going to be. Like how much like logic flaws are going to be in there. Like for example, people are pointing out in this one, he didn't factor in the limit of enemies and stuff you could put into the levels. Which is, I mean, unless he did and just didn't tell us, I have no idea. I'm not doing the math. I'm not doing all that math to figure out if he did or not, but hey. You know, but I think it was like back to his roots where he does like more math-based kind of crazy what-if scenarios. And it wasn't, I mean, the title was still clickbait, though. That's the thing. The title was clickbait. So he needs to stop that, honestly. That's my commentary on that. Anyway, but more importantly, I've been watching Rick and Morty Season 3, which is finally fucking out. The first 2 episodes just came out last week. The first one being Rick Shank, I think it's Rick Shank Redemption, I think they called it. And the next one being Rick Mancing of the Stone. And the one that's coming out tomorrow is just called Pickle Rick, and today, it's coming out tonight. I'm watching it tomorrow. Because I'm not staying up all night to watch it. And I'm going to watch the episode online. But yeah, what do I think of it? It's freaking hilarious, man. It's a great show. I liked the last episode. It was pretty funny. The ending, like how it all tied together at the end. It was pretty funny, I think. My favorite scene in the whole thing is Robot Morty realizing, like, gaining self-awareness. He's just, like, yelling. He goes, what does he say? He says, I want to be alive. And he's just, like, ranting about wanting to go through a stream and taste ice cream and shit, and then like he gets overridden. He's like, override mode engaged. No, yes, I want alive, and he dies. And then when he boots up, he says hello, and it's really funny. I think that's probably the funniest scene in the episode because he just like he just like slumps down like, and then he wakes up and he says hello. It's fucking hilarious. Anyway, that's pretty much all I've been watching. I've been watching like a lot of YouTube videos. I did watch videos about the Marvel Universe history. By Comics Explained. Apparently the guy's name is Rob. Based on the comments, I think that's what they're calling the guy. I think that's his name. I guess that's his name or whatever. But he makes these like really informative videos, and the narration on them is pretty good. And the images he puts images from the comics. So it basically explains the history of the Marvel Universe, like what happened in the beginning, the Big Bang, and all that shit. It goes from literally the beginning of the universe to I don't know when it goes to. Maybe modern Marvel. I'm not sure. I haven't seen that far in that thing. I haven't finished it yet. I think it might go only as far as World War II or Civil War, maybe. I don't know. Because the next episode, I think, was Civil War or World War II or something. Yeah, the next episode is World War II. Episode 7. And then there's 8. I don't know if there's any past that. But it's actually pretty interesting. And the cool thing he does about this series is at the very end of the episode, he puts like part of this interview with Stan Lee. And it's actually a really interesting interview. He talks about a lot of stuff. That he's like a lot of his morals and stuff about comics, and like a lot of what he says about comics, like how he wants it to be fun, something that he would like reading, and he doesn't want to like he wants to like make it. I don't know what else he said, but a lot of things he was saying in the interview that was played at the end of the episode was like stuff I agree with. And I was like, wow, I kind of think that way about when I write and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool that like I naturally have that like. That way of thinking of one of the greatest writers of our time, and like a fictional kind of universe, I guess, like nerd culture, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been watching this week. That kind of transitions a little bit into the low carb diet. Now, I am not the most healthy man on the planet. In fact, I am not the most slim man on the planet. As you can see, well, you can't see now. It's less. Last week, compared to this week, I probably look a little different. That's because I started a low-carb diet. I'll explain what it is in a second. But basically, I realized that I can't be this weight. I can't be this thick, if you will. I'm too thick. So there's extra thick, and then there's too thick. I don't even want to be extra thick. I just want to be maybe thick at the very least. I just said that so seriously just now. Anyway, I realized that I need to get healthier, so I decided to do the low carb diet because I've seen it work. I've seen it work firsthand. My brother started doing it, and he started in February, and he's like losing so much weight. It's actually pretty cool. Now I'm also exercising with this, and I'm also starting at a lower weight. So I'm starting at 250, which is my weight. Was my weight last week. Now I'm 245, which is nice. So I lost 5 pounds in about a week, like a little bit less than a week. And I'm also exercising. I'm going to karate. So that I think exercising and dieting is like very important for life. I realized that too late. I wish I realized that earlier. And the reason I started this thing is because I really want to go to Comic-Con as Spider-Man, and I didn't want to go. I wanted to start losing weight now, because I wanted to be able to wear costumes and look more. Also, hello, in chat. Okay. Waiting for it to appear here. Oh, the name is like, your name is too long for the thing to show up. I am talking Forever Alone, man. This is a podcast. It's a podcast of one. I should call it Forever Alone podcast because I'm always forever alone. That's the curse. Anyway, so I wanted to be able to portray, like, I just didn't want to look like an idiot. I mean, like, I think if you're wearing a costume, like, you've seen those pictures of those, like, big fat people wearing these costumes. It doesn't look good. It just looks terrible. So, you know, I decided to, like, start slimming down and getting fit. My goal is to get down to a weight that's going to stay that weight, or a size that I'm going to stay at by September, so I could buy a costume and have it custom fit to my new size. And that size will be the same in October when Comic-Con hits, so that I can make sure to, so I'm not, like, the costume's not too big or too small, depending on, like, when the con is. So I'm at the right, so I stay there. That's my goal. Anyway, but the low carb diet, just a quick brief down, is basically you don't eat that many carbs. Like, you cut out a lot of bread, pasta, rice, beans, maybe, I think. Potatoes, for sure. Chips, junk food in general. And you have very little carbs. And you could still eat, like, every meal a day. It's not like an intense diet. I thought it was pretty intense at first, but I realized it's not that bad. The only real thing is cake and pasta. And what else was it? There's something that was like... What was it this morning that I'm like, oh man, I can't have that. I think it was just pasta. No. What was it that I can't have? I really miss. I don't know. I mean, it's not that you can never have that stuff. You just don't have it all the time. Now, I'm not going to have any this month so I can really shoot down there and get to the weight I need to be. But that's about it for that. Now I'm going to move on to the last topic for tonight, and I'm going to head off and go eat a healthy snack, because that's what you need to do. So, projects that I'm working on. Right now I'm working on abstract reviews, as always. I was actually considering canceling the entire show. That's how fucking terrible I am at this editing. I've taken about 7 months to edit a 45, like right now it's a 50-minute episode. We're probably going to, we might have to do it in 2 parts, because we wrote a pretty decently long script. We need to figure out a better way to write the scripts so that they're not as long. So we know we cut down on the jokes. We might cut out some jokes and make it slim down the review. But I've been working on it, and I was actually thinking of canceling it because like of how stressful the editing has gotten. But I think I was just having a bad week with it. You know, I just think about it and I'm like, nope, don't want to think about it. You know, so I just kind of was just like, no, I'm done, man. But I realized that I could do it. I need to just calm down about it. You know, it's not that bad. So I picked it up again, and hopefully it should be coming out next week or the week after that. It should be coming out soon, hopefully. That would be episode 4. It's a pretty interesting episode. A new character appears in the episode. There's a new character. I'm not going to spoil it just yet, but he's pretty interesting. He might not be around forever, though. I'm going to say that. And by might not, I mean, like, there's a good chance he'll, go on his own path and, like, separate from the show or something like that. A new character that will take his place eventually. So there's that. But the other projects I'm working on, I've been working on this like a few universes, 2 different universes basically. They're technically in the same world. One is in the outside. It's like a futuristic universe where the other universe is built in. Basically, the Abstract Reviews universe, called the Abstract Syntax Universe, or the ASU for short, is a world of code created in the future. So it's set in present day now, but like it's made by someone in the future, like 100 years in the future or something. It was around 100 years. It was made in 2160, and I'm writing that universe of where it was built, and I'm also writing the backstory for the universe of the world that it takes place in, or the world the show takes place in. And I'm thinking about writing some comics. I'm not sure if I'm going to start in which universe I'm going to start in, because every day I have a different passion for one. There's also a third universe that I kind of want to do, or maybe see if I could fit into this universe or something like that. But there is a universe where that might not fit into either universe. Called Cyrus, where a show called Cyrus and Saturn, or comic rather, would take place. Cyrus and Saturn. It's about 2 high school kids joining a organization that hunts ghosts, and they do that, and that's what they do, and it's about ghost hunting. It's pretty interesting take on the concept, I guess, because they use weapons. They use like guns and rocket launchers and swords, and it's like they use like actual weapons. I think it's like an action kind of like gun show. I think the main characters mostly use guns. I think it's I know it's 2 Mac-10s and then a shotgun. Like a sawn-off shotgun is the 2 main characters' weapons. Cyrus has the Mac-10s and Saturn having the shotgun. And I think it's an interesting concept. I think I've been working on it since I was like 12, so it's probably should be the first one I make, but I mean, I've technically been working on abstract reviews for a longer time, but it hasn't been in the same universe for it's pretty new, actually, in the universe of abstract review, the abstract syntax universe in my head. At least, like its final form, like before it was like a little complicated and I didn't know exactly what I was going to do, but I guess in its current form and final form, I guess you could say, has has been almost a year old, so that's pretty cool, I think. So it's like almost a year since I last made that. But anyway, I'll see you guys next later today, maybe possibly next tomorrow. I will come back with another stream later today, possibly, because I do want to play some Splatoon, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it working. I might just play TF2 instead. We'll see. But for now, I'm gonna head out. This has been the podcast of one. I'll see you guys next time with more stuff.